Hello, Future Bestsellers. Happy Wednesday. We are super excited to be with you guys today. We were actually just talking backstage about our big topic today, which is going to be character naming because, well, I'll tell you guys in a second. Let's do our, let's say our hellos and do our little intros first, and then I will tell you why character naming is like weighing heavily on my brain today. So I'm Lisa Daly. This is my channel. Welcome, everybody. I would like to introduce my fabulous co-host today. I'm going to start with you, Michelle, like that. Tell us all about you and your awesome channel.
All right, I'm Michelle Schusterman. I write middle grade and young adult novels, although I'm currently working on some mystery and some horror. And my channel is traditional publishing, chat, writing vlogs, and writing workshops.
Excellent. Oh, so much great stuff over there. Story Detective Robert Jones is here today. I'm super glad to see you. So tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
Well, I am Robert Jones, and my channel is The Story Detective, where I put my experience as a storyteller through words and pictures in various mediums that I've done my entire life and professionally in places like Marvel and DC Comics, and put all that under a Sherlockian microscope, break it down, and give you the craft to hopefully make your craft journey easier, and so you'll avoid making those mistakes that I did along the way.
Very nice. Well, I'm super excited. You've got some new videos in the works, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, yay. Okay. So I'm like in such a funny mood because, like I said, the horror geek was like texting me, "You're late. You're showing up late." So sorry about that, you guys. You know how I am. Anyway, so I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a traditionally published and indie published author. I'm actually super excited because I have my first indie published like from scratch, not something that I'm republishing, but a brand new title that I'm going to be releasing indie, which I'm super excited about. What? My hockey romance is up for pre-order. Yay!
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm super excited about it. But this is how our topic of conversation came to be. So the book comes out in April. And I am still going back and forth on whether or not I like the main character's name as the story developed. The original name I picked for her didn't really fit. And then I picked another name and I wrote with that for a long time. And normally, like, once I pick a name, that's it. Maybe I'll have a change, or maybe it's just like guy to be named later, that I'll work. But generally speaking, I don't have like second, third, fourth, fifth thoughts. So is this just me? Does anybody else, do you have that too? Have you like renamed a character in the middle of a book?
I'm going through it now.
Yeah, or at the end of a book.
I don't know if I've ever done it, if I've ever gotten all the way through a draft and then changed a name, unless like an editor asked to. Like, I think there's been one or two instances of a side character and it's like, oh, this name is too similar to this, so can we change it?
Right.
But sometimes I do get really stuck in the beginning with certain characters. It's like, if I don't have the right name, it's like I can't write them.
Right.
It doesn't always happen that way.
No, sometimes, right. Yeah. But it just doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So so that's it. Like, where I keep getting a little closer and, yeah. So I don't know, like, I think I'm going to end up changing this book before it actually goes live, which is right. There's just kind of a crazy thing, but I do have to like decide immediately because like review copies are going out. And so we can't have like reviews that have the wrong character name. And I certainly, like, once it's out in the world like that, you can't really like go back and go like, if you were planning to write a review, please write the main character's name as blah. Like,
oh man.
I know, right? That's like the last thing you want to do. So let's say hi to our friends in the chat. I'm dying to hear what you guys think about this. And we are going to be talking all about character names today, including like some rules that you should avoid, things that you should avoid doing if you can. All right. So Swinton's here today. Hello. We are super glad you are starting here for your designated writing day. Super excited. And your designated writing podcast. Very nice. Michael, we're super excited to see you. Very nice. Becca's here. Hello, Becca. Everybody, we are super glad. Devin's here. Oh my gosh, we have such a great group today. Hello, Devin. We are super glad to see you. Lainey's here. You guys, next week Lainey is going to be on the show with us, and earlier this was it this week? I don't even know. I think it was earlier this week. At some point in the not very distant past, we filmed a video about Lainey's experience with Kickstarter, and so we did that interview, and I'm gonna post it next week on Monday, and then we're gonna have Lainey in to talk about it on Wednesday. So I'm super excited because she had a really like kind of wild and crazy experience, and I'm like. With Kickstarter, I was always kind of like, well, I'm not sure. Like, I don't have time to do it this year. Maybe I'll do one next. But now I'm kind of like, I should be doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely the way I'm going. I've planned that for a while because I've read articles about Kickstarter being the place for authors if you want to crowdfund your project.
It was like seeing her story sort of laid out and how everything worked. Like it was super, super helpful. So I think it's going to be a really, it definitely convinced me for sure. So really great. Cool Gamer, we are so glad you are here today. Mary Wimbley's here. Hello. Super happy to see you. BookTube Goddess is here. Aw, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely change side character names in almost every book, but main characters I usually stick with. That is so fascinating. That is absolutely so fascinating. I have done that before. So one of the things that I will sometimes if you change a main character name, you have one of the things you talked about earlier, Michelle, is that you have another character name, a side character whose name is too similar. And I'd read a million years ago, and I cannot source this, and I apologize for it because I hate to take anybody else's idea. Someone smart said that you should never name other characters with the same initial as your main character because readers have a hard time differentiating, and and while they can figure it out, and certainly there are going to be lots of books, and don't send me the results, but there'll be lots of books where people have completely ignored that, and readers managed to hang on, just the same. But the wisdom behind not naming a secondary character with the first initial as your primary character, in particular, not the same, a character that's the same sex, like you can relax it a little bit if it's opposite sex characters, but if it's a character who's the same sex, the reader like has that little pause where they go, oh, is this person or this person? And you never want to do anything. We never want to do anything that takes the reader out of the experience and makes them like, where was that? What street was that? We just want them to keep in the experience, right? Because we're almost like breaking the fourth wall, sort of. If you're like, it's a similar jarring experience if they have to figure out who it is. So that is the rule that I always try to live by as far as character names. Coffee Live. First of all, I'm loving the picture because she looks like she's living the coffee life, and I'm very excited about that. She's like cool, having a good day. Lainey says, I think it was last week. You would probably have a better idea. I could go back in my calendar and look, but I like today's Wednesday. I'm not quite sure where the week went. BookTube Goddess says, I had a creative writing teacher back in college who made me feel like crap because I didn't know why I didn't have a reason for a character's name.
You should have asked that teacher what's the reason behind her name.
Right.
Not everybody has a story. Sometimes it's just a name.
No, sometimes it is just a name. And also sometimes it can, character, like sometimes it's really okay. It's a challenge to write a character that has you know, a name that like is related to the story without making it feel too kind of on the nose. And people do a good job with that. I always thought it was funny in that show Castle. If you guys ever watched that show, I know Robert watched one and he was like, no, this is not for me. But
No, I actually haven't watched Castle. It was
oh,
the other House. I watched a
it's
couple.
House. Oh, for some reason I thought you said like, you're like not a fan of cat. Anyway, so yeah, so Castle, his first book character, like for his first big popular series, is a guy named Derek Storm, right? He's like your typical, you know, hero spy guy. And all of his book titles are Stormfront, Stormbreak, Storm this, Storm that, right? And then his next character, who's based on the police officer, is the main character's name is Nikki Heat. And so all the book titles are Heat Wave, blah, blah, blah. And while that does feel like a real thing in the sort of fictional book world of Richard Castle, it also, and I know that like certainly there have been other best-selling authors who have done that, like real human best-selling authors. But I don't know, like to me that feels like so dopey. Now on the other hand, you were not going to forget the character's name, which, you know, sometimes people do. So I don't know. Do we have thoughts on this?
It depends on like kind of the tone you're going for too, you know? Like that can work if you're going for a little bit of like camp, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. A little campiness. Yeah, I could totally see that. But I always thought that was funny because I remember like when they first started doing that, I remember thinking like, I don't think I would ever name a series that way, but you know, I don't know. So who knows? All right. So Becca has used Kickstarter before. 10 years ago, wanted to get a booth at the LA Festival of Books. It worked really well. Cool. All right. I love that. Oh, thank you, Shannon, so much. Let's see. Becca says starting characters with the same letter is a big no-no for screenwriting too. I used to have to change character names for that reason alone. Yeah, our little brains can't handle it. Thank you. You're welcome. Mary loves Castle. Very nice. Didn't the author of the Bone series do that with their titles? Ooh, I don't know, but probably so. All right, I can totally see that. I have to have the names before I start because I talk to them through the whole writing process. I do too, but I'm one of those book moms, just like those people who adopt a pet and then give it a brand new name, which we did. Just like those people. New life, new name. Woohoo! Anyway, so just like that, I will give them a name and then change it. Yeah. All right. Devin says I have to change character names a few times as it started not fitting or I get to know someone and I had to go change it. As my mind eye focuses on them. That is really I think that for me that's really similar to the process that's happening in my brain. Hello. Very nice to see you. Thank you very much for being here today. Welcome. Yes. Right. Fantastic. All right. Pretty cool. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and start with a 5-minute warm up since we have a good spot to take a quick pause and get out our little writing projects and do all that stuff for today. I am super excited. I am, again, working on Hockey Romance. I feel like the answer to what are you working on today is going to be Hockey Romance for the next like year and a half because I have all these books in the series. And I feel like, yep. Is it Hockey Romance again? Why, yes. So if we ever do a quiz and you guys want to know what are you working on, you could just say Hockey Romance. That would just cover all that stuff. All right, here we go. We're going to put this timer up. All right, so we are going to start off, you guys, with a 5-minute warm-up sprint. Get your giant bottle of water and your document open and all that good stuff. And we are going to get going in 3, 2, 1. Sprint. All right. Very nice. How'd you guys do in that 5-minute warm up? Get everything all ready?
Not too bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
Excellent. Very good. All right. How about you guys in the chat? Let us know how you did. And what are you working on today? Let us know. I'm always fascinated to hear what you guys are working on. Story Detective, what are you working on today?
I'm editing my Sherlockian manuscript.
You're like me. I'm like, what am I working on? I'm working on hockey. What are you working on? I'm working on Sherlock.
This is the character that I'm having some problems with. It is a secondary character. And
Perhaps
we'll get a
they
little bit
need
more into that in a minute.
Yeah. Do they need a new name? Maybe that's the problem.
I think so. I'll actually ask people and we'll take a poll here in a minute.
All right. Fantastic. I love that. Michelle, what will you be working on today?
So actually, in a couple weeks, I'm doing a webinar for Children's Book Insider, and the topic is how to pitch to trends. So I am working on that presentation today.
Ooh, very, very nice. Love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Miss Page says working on nonfiction this week, trying to reach the 50% mark today. Yay, that's fantastic. Tell us what it's about. I'm excited to know. Heather's here. Hey, Heather, we are super glad to see you today. Lainey is using Chat GPT to generate an outline for a marriage of convenient romance for fun. We have played around with that just because it's fascinating. The Horror Geek and I have like been kind of messing around, not like to do a book outline, but I'd really be interested to see like what it comes up with. Horror Geek is working on yet another YouTube script. Very nice. Thank you for being here, Horror Geek. BookTube Goddess released a YouTube video for the sprint. Wow, that's fantastic. Awesome. Michael working on a poem. Yay, fantastic. Mary continued reorganizing my stickers in my sticker book, which is what I was doing before I hopped on and logged into work. Very nice.
Savvy, hey.
We are super glad to see you. We are super glad to see you. Also, I'm totally digging your new avatar. Very nice. Yay, we're so glad to see you today. Savvy, super excited to write today. Can't write until this evening because right now I need to do my makeup and film 3 YouTube videos today. Then I can write. Holy smokes, Savvy, you are a machine. Very, very nice. Good job.
Yeah.
EJ is updating series Bible for my book 4 series. Yeah, very nice. Everybody's like crazy busy today. Complete the brief to my cover designer. Ooh, so speaking of stuff like not being ready to go, I don't know why this reminded me of this. Pre-order, copy's not done. So like that was kind of like my scratch copy. And yeah, not final. That's fine. No one will die. Heather has been running errands this morning. Sat down at 10:30 to do some promo. Just getting head around doing other work. Love that. I'm going to writing sprints every day. Look at you. Very nice, you guys. Fantastic. Ooh, all right. Fantastic. Love that. You guys got like so much stuff going on today. I'm so proud of you. Devin's working on one of my off and on stories. A great action scene came to mind. Ooh, I love that feeling when you're just like the whole scene is like right in your head. Your romance part. Aw, thank you. You should come on. You should come back on. All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to do a class, you guys. I'm doing my first Kajabi class. I'm kind of excited. We're just working. I know, right?
Fun.
This is a big year for me. Either I'm going to just be a big pile of goo at the end of 2023, or I will have had the most spectacularly productive year in history. We'll see. We'll see which one. Hold your breath until the end of the year. Becca just got copy edits back from the editor, so I'm implementing all the changes. Very nice. You guys are fantastic. And BookTube Goddess is all ready for that presentation. Yep. I want to know that too.
I think they're actually going to record the webinar and then they put them up for sale on their website afterwards. So it will be available. I will provide links whenever that is a thing.
Very nice. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Of course, you could, if it is your thing, you could always do a little side, like another little YouTube video on the same content. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the webinar is going to include a lot of stuff I've talked about in separate videos of mine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've done a lot of videos on pitches, obviously.
Right.
And so part of the webinar is going to be just dissecting a pitch.
Right. And putting all that stuff together.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it sounds absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited about that. So let's do some writing.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, I've got projects. Let's do it. So let me go ahead and pull up our 20-minute timer today. Dun, dun, dun. I say this like it's new and exciting thing. Guess what, everybody? We're going to use the 20-minute speech timer today. Try not to faint. Okay. Love you. All right, you guys. I'm super excited to write today. Like I'm just like so in the zone. So we are going to start off with our first 20-minute sprint, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you pick names for your characters, and we on the panel will also talk about how we pick names for our characters. But I'm dying to hear what you guys do. All right, everybody, here we go. We got 20 minutes up on the clock. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Get those words done. All right. Very nice. Here we go. Let's see. All right. So, how did everybody do on that last one?
Very good.
Yeah.
Got the introduction written. So
Nice.
good start.
Excellent. All right. Absolutely fantastic. How about you, Robert? How'd you do on the last sprint?
I read over my last chapter and started getting my bearings on this one, and I think I'm off to a pretty good start.
Fantastic. That's what I was doing. Reading through the last section. I did not write yesterday. And so I feel like I need, you know how it is, like you just need like a little refresher from the last chapter that you worked on. So how about you guys in the chat? Let us know how you did on the last one. And our topic today is naming characters. So if you have some good advice on how you name characters, or you want to just tell us how you pick names for characters, we would love that. Heather is in need of more coffee. even more than you have already. JC is here. Hello. We are super, super glad to see you today. Very nice. So, all right. Coffee Life says, seeing if coffee will perk my brain. It seems like everybody needs coffee this morning. Seeing if coffee will perk my brain up to get some work done. Feel ya on that. Not so much the coffee, but the caffeine for sure. Okay. So how do you pick your names is the question for contemporary. Coffee Life says, I feel out names that come to mind. If it's for eras, I look up relevant names to that era, country, or the meaning of it if it matches the theme. So all excellent advice. That's what I often will check the baby names for secondary characters. I like to do kind of more original names for my main characters, but for secondary characters and sometimes for main characters, I will go check on like the Social Security website or like the baby name sites where you can just literally type into Google, what's the most popular baby name for 1977 or whatever it is you're looking for. So so that's pretty cool. And the meaning thing, I haven't done that, but that's actually what I'm doing right now. Like I'm thinking that I'm going to change the character's name to, so she ends up being like a good luck charm for this hockey player. He's having like a really bad really bad time. He's the team captain, he's not scoring, blah blah blah. And she's a former figure skater, but she's sort of known as like the good luck charm. And so, right, which is kind of fun. And then, of course, they fall madly in love. And how is she going to tell him before the playoffs? Anyway, so I wanted to do something not super on the nose, and the name that I have now for her is Bella, which is not staying. That was just kind of where I was. But I'm looking now at names that mean luck or fortune, good fortune in other countries to sort of, so I have some good possibilities, but I'm not all the way there yet. So, but I love that Coffee Life. I love all same stuff I do. How about you guys? Michelle, what do you do when you're looking for names?
It really depends. I know this is going to sound weird, but usually my first step is like I look at my keyboard at the letters and I'm just like, what letter is this person?
Really?
Sometimes it's just I need to find the first letter, and then I start using name generators or baby name sites. Look for that. It's not all characters, but some characters I'm just like, this is a S character. You
just feel it.
It just like jumps out. I don't know.
It's weird. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So when you were talking about name generators, the only name generators I'm aware of are the ones that will generate like your porn name or your like or your princess name or whatever.
No, Scrivener has a name generator in it.
I've been using Scrivener for 100 years. I don't think I ever knew that.
That's because Scrivener has a billion features and nobody knows.
Right? No one knows all the features of Scrivener.
It's under edit and writing tools, and then you'll see name generator. And it's really cool because you can do things like, I'm pulling it up right now just to see. You can do things like have it attempt alliteration. You can set like different ethnicities or for what. where the name comes from.
Right. If you want like a traditionally Hispanic name or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
It's
Yeah, I'm
pretty
gonna have to go look this up.
I know, right? That seems like and it's like completely perfect. Like I said, I've used Scrivener for 1,000 years, and I did not know that was there. So
I've used it off and on, and I didn't either.
yeah, but you are right. No one knows everything that Scrivener has to offer.
Scrivener has a lot of features.
How about you, Story Detective? How do you pick your names?
Well, I have this whole spill down method from hero to villain and the rest of the cast and how they relate to the hero or the villain. Then I have a character named source book, and I usually start with that and go, the meaning of something that will fit. And I go by the old saw of, if it's a main character, start out with either a more complicated first name and a simple last name, or a simple first name and a more complicated last name.
Right.
And try to feel it out. I do alphabet and vowel sounds as far as trying to get, a little bit of snap to certain characters, things like that. The one that I have currently is a secondary character. It's in the Sherlock Holmes story. It's the client, but due to the circumstances of the story, she has to be kind of a witty match for Sherlock. And she's based on an actual artist model from the period who had a murder in her history. So I've taken some cues from that, and a second murder happens in this woman's life. And she comes to Sherlock, but she is not the typical client. So I thought, if I'm going to make her kind of like a match for his wit, at first I had kind of a fancy name and I didn't like it. Then I thought maybe something of a detective name, and I looked at my bookshelf, and the first thing that hit me was Chandler. And I looked up that name, and it's a popular name with like writers, artists, models, things like that. And it's like, okay, that kind of fits. But the first name, I'm not quite sure of. The first thing that came to mind was Rebecca. There is a writer and an actor and all kinds of Rebecca Chandlers if you look up the name. So I don't know if I want to go that typical. It might be okay, the fact that it is a common kind of name for those purposes. But I'm not 100% on the nose with it. I mean, what do you guys think?
I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I think that Rebecca Chandler is a common name, and I would probably want to look for some, like, since she's a main character, I'd probably look for some like extra way that you could sort of tweak one name or the other to make it a little less common or a little more unusual. Yeah. For me, that's but I don't think that that's necessarily, I mean, it is sort of a classic name. It doesn't, like, it's kind of a timeless name, which is lovely, especially considering what you're writing. So I think that's fantastic. All right, let's see what people say in our in the chat. Here we go. Ms. Page got negative 159 words. You must be editing today. Very nice. Good job. We've got a little bit of this. Mary says reorganizing. May get to writing later this afternoon. Lainey, still struggling to name my hero. Totally feel that. Maybe we could just switch. I'll name your hero. You can name my hero, my heroine. It took me a little while. Like, I went through a couple of iterations with the hero too, but he's good. He's good now. Becca, getting to the end of my edits. Woohoo! I can start laying it out in InDesign. Very, very nice. Savvy says, Savvy's got some controversial advice. This advice might be controversial. Sometimes I use an AI bot to help me name characters.
I never thought about doing that.
I never thought about that either. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's a use for AI that would actually be legitimate. I think there's a tool to be used there. It's just the misuse of that tool by big corporations that's the big conspiracy and the source of all the arguments, because people are afraid it's going to put them out of work, and it will.
It will. It will. Let's keep going now while live author's still good. Okay. That is fascinating. Shannon says, I try to find unusual names that are not hard to pronounce, right? Or if you do have a word, if you do have a name that's kind of hard to pronounce, you can always have the character explain it to another character. Sometimes I will use Latin roots to add to other names, the roots also having meaning. Very nice. Ms. Page, I spend too much time with etymology research when I'm figuring out names for main and major side characters. Yes, yes. So it's not just me. I'm glad to have all of you in our naming soup, character naming soup with me. Thank you for being here. Very nice. I have a book of baby names, so that's what I use if I can't come up with that on my own. I do that all the time. The baby naming sites are fantastic. Sometimes I use the name generator or I base it on the theme. Love it. Love it. Name dice. That sounds kind of cool. Is that like a little app?
Fun.
That does sound really fun. Bella's the name of one of the girls in my lesbian sorority romance I'm almost done with. Well, I feel like Bella belongs in a lesbian sorority romance. She could also be a figure skater, but I don't know if she's as good at figure skating as she needs to be. So she may be getting a rename. But I think that Bella is a perfect name for that. That's fantastic. All right. Some kind of name themselves. I have had that happen. What's your weirdest character naming story? I have a weird one that's kind of a good one. You want to hear it?
Yes, please, because I don't know what my weirdest. I'm gonna have to think about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
I'm
think
not
about
sure
it. We can
either.
talk about that. I'll tell you. This is what we're gonna do. We are gonna do a sprint, and when we come back, we're gonna
Yes.
talk about our weirdest character naming experience, which I think is gonna be super fun because I bet there are some weird ones in there. All right, let's go ahead and put the clock back up. Oops, I almost just gave us an extra camera, which is unfortunate because I don't have an extra camera today. All right, there we go.
Interesting comment from JC over here really quick that says Cassandra Chandler. Cassandra was one of the first names that I initially had for the character, but mixed with Chandler, both first and last sound a little too similar, I think, for...
Now, see, that's funny because I love the alliteration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's worth thinking about.
Yeah, it's very memorable. Also, it has all the, that's a really good name, JC. It has all of the pluses that Rebecca has, meaning like that it feels sort of timeless, but I sort of like that. I kind of dig it,
Okay.
right? All right. But that's me. You might not like alliteration.
I'll jot it down and think about it.
Yeah, I know, right? So ultimately, it's like, does this sound right in the book? I mean, that really is the thing.
Yes.
All right, you guys, we are going to put 20 minutes up on the clock, which I've already done. And let's go ahead and get started with our second 20-minute writing sprint. You guys have got this. Here we go. Let's sprint. 3, 2, 1. All right. Very nice. I like was in the middle of the sentence when the timer went off, so I was like rushing back to get everything all turned over. So, how'd everybody do on that last sprint?
Good.
Good.
I've got some nice conflict going on here.
Conflict is good. Conflict is good. How'd you do, Michelle? Oh, you're muted. Hold on. Okay. I got you. You're good.
Okay. Finished the introduction and now I'm making the slides.
Nice.
So yeah,
very good. Very good. We had so many good comments, you guys, and I totally missed them. So we're just going to like go back through this. So Miss Page says a lot of times I know the nickname before I know their full name, and then I work backwards. Same on that. Lainey also perplexed. What? There's a name generator in Scrivener? Who knew? Who knew? I know, right? Let's see. Shannon says, I have Moon Fae in my next book. Found a lot of cool names with Moon in the meeting. Ibeck, Moon Master, Itak, Moon Crown, Aruna, Moon Love. I love that. Tunke, Bronze Mood. I'm probably saying these all wrong. Ihan is full moon. This is actually what I had done I was looking for words that were related to luck and fortune and found some good ones.
Yeah.
Jennifer says, I love Scrivener's name generator. Also, hi, ladies. And Robert, hi, Jennifer. So glad to see you today. EJ, fantasy name generator. Google it.
There are so many of them.
For sure. Absolutely. Oh, this is interesting. Rosalind says Chandler relates to candles and illumination, maybe a name related to light. Stella popped into my head. Stella. Okay. Shannon says, here's some psychology with names. I have a bachelor's in psychology. Names for characters who may not be so good tend to start with K. Names that start with the letter grades have correlated. Names that start with the letter of grades have correlated to higher grades for A's and B's and lower grades and D's and F's. So Donna and Fiona are flunking out. But,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's pretty fantastic. I am actually one credit short of a bachelor's degree in psychology, which I never intended to. I never like had a plan to go into psychology. I just kept taking the classes. Like my degree is in communications, but I just kept taking all these psychology classes because I was absolutely fascinated. And I feel like the psychology classes actually help, which I've said before, actually help more with writing than like the writing classes did. I think we went on that one before. Any letter that has a harsher sound tends to be the first letter of villains. We do that a lot. Miss Page says magazines like Country have funny stories submitted by readers, and there are scads of cool names from the people submitting the story and the names of their hometowns. I have totally stolen names from people that I have met or people that I know. Like, have you you meet somebody with a cool name and you go, I'm taking your name for a book.
I've done it at least once.
Savvy says for 90s kids, one of the main characters is named Bex, and I named her that because I had a dream about her, and that was her name. That's fantastic. Oh, that was this is a great story, right? We were going to talk about our weirdest character naming stories, and Savvy has kicked us off with that.
Well, you just reminded me of one with that one. So yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, Robert, what is your weird character naming story?
For my sci-fi fantasy, I knew a guy named Theron, which means hero.
Oh,
that's the name I stole.
Love it. I totally love it. So that is you're totally fine. So my weird character naming story was that I was on a plane going to LaGuardia Airport from Tampa, and I was trying to figure out the name of my main character in 15 Minutes of Shame, and I had gone through 57 million different, different names where you just keep search and replace and keep replacing it. And I just had not found one. And finally I was like so frustrated. I'm like, okay, universe, I need a sign. Like, tell me which name. And literally I got off the airplane and I went down the escalator. As I recall, you go down the escalator. And at the bottom of the escalator, there was a sign. A guy, a chauffeur, was holding a sign that said Holt. And I used to live down the street in elementary school from a guy named Gregory Holt. And I was like, oh my God, Holt Gregory could be the name of my guy. And so that ended up being his name, Holt. Because there was literally I asked for a sign and I got one.
That's a great name.
I know, right? And in the form of a, right? And it was good. Like, it's not too great. The thing about like a weirder first name is it really does. We were talking about this with someone earlier, and I'm sorry, I forgot who said it, but you really do need kind of like a calmer first name if you have like a more standard first name, if you have kind of a wild last name and vice versa. Very, very nice. A little more psychology for name beginnings, the use of the words with the consonants B, K, and P. Book, for example, produce harsher sounds than the soft F and V, or liquid L, M, and N.
Interesting.
Liquid Lisa. Devin says character naming is my kryptonite. It's like pulling teeth yourself. Yeah, baby names are good. Like, that is a good way to, I mean, that's a standby for me. I use that all the time. Watch all the credits of the movies and find names I liked. I had a book. I wrote them all down into. That's good. I do have a name, like a little file where I keep character names. Okay, I'm not conference. I'm part. Let's see. Heather is going to be part of the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference. Awesome. That's fantastic. I think that is really great. All right. Thanks for dropping the link. Very, very nice. Heather's also done that. Fantastic. Okay, Eva's here. Hello. Hello. Eva is late to the name game party, but ancestry is fun for names. There's all ones we know, but we forget about, and there's so many very unique or now unused names. Mm-hmm. That is so true. Just looking on like most popular baby names of 1920 or something like that always brings up like a bunch. My husband's a K who's among the good guys, but he's a junior born of a bad guy. So I'm torn. Very nice. I love this, you guys. What a great thing. Ooh, Miss Page got 230 words. Fantastic. Heather's doing some admin. Lainey says, my first full-length book, The Heroine were Tim and Alice, and I got some low reviews because those names are boring. I don't even want to, like, how do you even open that? That's a pretty good story. Well, so your characters now, I mean, for your Kickstarter, you have the Stagg brothers. You can't get any more like vivid and visual than that. So apparently you learned your lesson with your first book. Very nice. And yet there's a Harry Potter born nearly every day. It's weird how boring names just work. I think that the, oh my God, what's that word I'm looking for? Opposites, the disparity, the juxtaposition of this extraordinarily magical environment against this very kind of just boring guy. I mean, eventually he becomes to not be a boring guy, but you know, in the beginning, like it works, I think, because it's so opposite to who he ends up being, right? He's not just magical. He's not just, you know, he doesn't just have these skills, but he's sort of like the chosen one. And so I think there's something really lovely about that juxtaposition. Low reviews due to names. Yes, you know, people on Amazon, man, they have some stuff. And also it's cool to see the Tims and Alice's saving the world. Truth, my friend. Yes. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and do another oh, we haven't talked about our weird stories. Anybody have a weird character naming story before we go to sprint? You've got
I
one.
get mine in.
Robert, you go.
No, I already told mine. So
Oh, okay.
mine was the steering guy.
It's not so much weird just as it's really silly. So I co-authored this book, and it was like our vision for it was like very Lemony Snicket, Roald Dahl, quirky kind of middle grade, right? And when we were coming up with the very first scene, I was like, we know it's going to be a new kid coming to this new school in a new town. And my idea for the first chapter was that he found out his locker was at the bottom of the swimming pool and he couldn't get to it. And then I chose the name for him just so I could have this punchline in the very beginning. The first line is, Davy Jones was distressed about the location of his locker. I named him Davy Jones just so I could make that joke.
It was worth it. Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
I love the name Lemony Snicket. I mean, sometimes you think of like emotions or fruit or things like that that could be good names for characters. Maybe I should name my character Apple because she's had these murders in her past.
Nice. And if she's a little bit evil, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It can be sweet. Like Apple it feels like such a pure sort of clean name, but it also has all these like sort of undertones of evil with
her entire witty attitude and being a match for Sherlock gives her a little bit of questionable attitude, which is what you want in a mystery. So maybe that's not a bad name.
Yeah, I think there's something cool to that. And honestly,
a character by the name of Apple.
Who knew? Who knew? I think that is absolutely fantastic. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get one more 20-minute sprint and we are going to be super productive today. All right, here we go. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Sprint. I will never get tired of that intro music. so into it. Oh my gosh, that went by so fast.
It did.
It was just like super, super fast. I was completely unprepared for that. So, how'd you do on the last sprint, Story Detective?
I did very well.
All right.
It's coming along quite nicely, I think.
Yay.
Awesome.
That is fantastic. I'm super glad to hear it. How about you, Michelle? How'd you do today?
Same. Felt like I really got on a roll.
Yeah.
So this is going faster than I thought it would, which is great.
Yay. I love that. Absolutely love that. I know, me too. I've made really, really good progress today. Looks like I've written about 2,200 words. So I'm very happy with that. I know, right? I'm pretty happy with that for today. Yeah. 3 sprints and the 5-minute, I was kind of getting stuff organized. So yeah, that's pretty good. All right. I'm super excited about that. Mary Wimbley loves Davy Jones. My friend Lisa McLeod also has had a crush on Davy Jones for a long time, like since she was like a kid. So, all right, fantastic. Heather's doing some admin and things like that. How did you guys do on that very final sprint? Let us know in the chat. I'm feeling pretty good today. You know what's terrible is I have some other thing. I have a call that I have to do after this stream today, and so which is like normally I don't mind, but today I'm so in the zone right now. I just want to like keep going. I think I might cancel. You hate to like when you're having a day where you're just like completely in the flow. I hate to interrupt those kinds of days.
Yeah.
My to-do list is long, but writing is always at the very top. So
yeah, I didn't write yesterday either. The day before I finished the scene and I was not feeling bad about it, but I thought it could have been a little more punchy. And I thought I was trying to figure out where that led in this scene as opposed to what I had already written, which needed some rewrites. And I thought I had the basic beats down. But today writing it is just like really coming together.
yay! All right, that's fantastic. Miss Page says 2:23. I'm not speedy today, but halfway to my goal for the day, and it's only 10 a.m. Yes, that is absolutely fantastic. I am super, super glad. Yeah, you know what? I'm not super speedy either. You know, when we have Carol on, she's always like 900 words for every 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's me for the entire stream.
I know, right? I know that's where I am. But I did have, now that said, I'm pretty well into the story. So I don't have, sometimes like once you're like I'm at that coming close to the end. And so I'm feeling like that momentum, that sort of natural book momentum. So love it, love it. When I start though, I'm not speedy. There are times where I like stare and like, I got 17 words that last one. Heather's also been occasionally checking social media posts about the son's birthday yesterday. Well, happy birthday to him. So very, very nice. Well, we are just about done here today. Let's go ahead and do our little outros for anybody who is new to us today. I'm going to start with you, Story Detective. Before we go, tell us a little about you and your channel.
Okay, well, my channel, which will have some videos, I do have some good plans and scripts coming, but they probably still won't be coming for another month, give or take. But my channel is taking those words and pictures that I've done my entire life for Marvel Comics and other places and putting that experience under a Sherlockian microscope and breaking down the craft of various storytelling techniques and giving it to you, the viewer, to make your craft journey easier.
Nice. Very, very nice. Michelle, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I'm Michelle Schusterman. I'm a young adult and middle grade author, and my channel is writing workshops, traditional publishing, chat, and writing blogs.
Thank you so much for being here today. Very, very nice as always. I'm Lisa Daly. This is my channel. I'm a hybrid author, and on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published, market it, love it, and all that other stuff. Next week, I'm super excited because we are going to be talking with Lainey Davis about Kickstarter. And so I know. Do you like that? There's a little singing involved today, apparently. So, so I was just very excited about that conversation. You guys are awesome. We are so glad that you are here, as always. Thank you so much, Devin. You're super sweet. Devin, if you guys don't know, has a fantastic list of the live streams that are going on. So you just want to check that out for sure. Thank you, Mary. Well, you guys are awesome, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.